Welcome to an intimate chat with retailers, part 7. We are pleased to be continuing this series with our moderator, Ellen Lewis of the Lingerie Briefs, in conversation with 5 retailers discussing their successes and struggles. Today's talk revolves around creating business post-pandemic. I think you'll really enjoy the theme as it centers on optimism, which is how we are feeling recently. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about each of our retailers. First, we have Corin Milne of Dark Garden Corsetry. If you are a fan of Bridgerton or love corsets, Dark Garden is the retailer you want to visit. The store was founded over 30 years ago by Autumn Adam, affectionately known in the corsetry world as the godmother of modern corsetry. It's considered the gold standard in the industry, making each and every corset by hand in the San Francisco boutique. Fans of the store include Dita Von Teese, Pamela Anderson, and Christina Aguilera. Corin has been working for the company for nearly a decade and managing the San Francisco flagship since 2017. Next, we have Kelly Santos of The Fitting Curve. Kelly has a true passion for lingerie and has over 15 years experience in bra fitting. She's helped countless women over the years, uplifting them in their bra journey or helping them find just the right fit. Kelly's been on national TV twice as a bra fitter in an episode of the hit TV show, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, along with the Rachel Ray Show. At The Fitting Curve, her secret weapon in the dressing room is a keen eye for fit and a no-holds-barred, brutal honesty to create a personalized shopping experience. Next, we have Kali Andrews of Petticoat Fair. If you've been to Austin, Texas, then I'm sure you're familiar with Petticoat Fair. This store is a third-generation owned business opened for 60 years and counting. The founder, Betty, went to corsetry school in the 50s, which included breast anatomy to learn how to fit properly bras. The techniques Betty learned and other training courses are still used in the store today, which is now owned by Kirk Andrews and Kali Andrews. At Petticoat Fair, Kali uses her keen eye and buying expertise to fill the store with chic, on-trend pieces every lingerie lover would covet. Next, we have Nicole White of Bloomers. We love Nicole's story. In 2018, she bought the business on a whim after her husband mentioned it was for sale. Bloomers first opened its doors in Alexandria, Virginia in 2008 with the idea of providing the best foundational garments for their customers. With a little over 600 square feet, Nicole has created a true solutions-focused store offering practical and pretty undergarments, sleepwear, and loungewear. In between running the boutique, Nicole has a second full-time job as mom to her 3-year-old daughter. Lastly is Mary Jordan of Bra La La. Mary's story is really interesting. She worked in a breast cancer research lab at Georgetown University for 6 years after graduating with a degree in biology from Virginia Tech. At 40, she switched careers and opened Bra La La with the mission of increasing women's self-esteem. Now in its 14th year, Mary continues to help women feel beautiful. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to have you here today. Your backgrounds are all so diverse, and I just can't wait to hear all your conversations with Ellen. So I'll let Ellen take it away from here.
So hi, everybody. It's great to be back here. I think this is our 7th intimate chat, and each one has had its own character. This particular one, as Kirsten mentioned, is about a little bit more optimistic. Things seem to be opening up. People are getting vaccinated, allowing for a feeling of relief. And the roads and the highways, even here in the New York metropolitan area, are more crowded. This chat is about product and merchandising. The real love of my life is what product sells and what product does not sell. So in what I want to ask most of you or all of you during this discussion is, are you selling the same products and brands that you sold before COVID? Did you change your content during COVID? And will you continue with this product as the world opens? Will you revert back to the items that sustained your business prior to lockdown? We're also going to speak a little bit to events, which we know have been closed down for a year, but might be coming back because some of them are real sales generators, and some of you have told me that they're not. I'm going to start with Mary from Bra La La. Mary, your business, as we mentioned, is 14 years old. Correct me if I make a mistake, please. But the 15,000 square foot full service store in Baltimore, Maryland, you've been very enmeshed in the lingerie specialty store community, as well as the local city community. And I think this has been a major anchor for you. At least that's my interpretation. Like many owners, you have stepped up your website and your social media. But I want you to discuss some of the brands that sustained you through the past year, some of the surprises like you're mentioning of swim, and perhaps some types of merchandise you will now test based on what you've learned. I also would love you to speak about the events that you did in the past and are planning on going forward. And please don't forget to mention the wedding that took place in your store.
Okay,
Go ahead.
all right, Ellen, thank you for having me today to discuss how we got through COVID and where we're at now. The products that actually sustained us through the COVID period was the bralettes, the comfy loungewear, and believe it or not, the sexy. It seemed like people were really looking for sexy outfits. What I'm seeing that people are looking for right currently is continuing with the comfort. We are selling, like I said, a lot of the bralettes, but they're looking for J hooks in particular. And I think that's because of all the time that people are spending slumped at their computer. They're having issues with their straps going down. So they want to make sure that they don't have to worry about that problem and to have a fix for it. That in addition to, like I said, the comfy, cozy, bralettes, wireless. I think I'm in the market for more wireless to bring into the store that are different than everyone else's. You and I had discussed Evelyn and Bobby's being a possibility. I'm thinking about giving them a try. Our swim is back on the mark. We had no swim sales last year at all, and I think that was because of COVID and all the local pools had closed, but it looks like our community is opening back up and swimwear is picking up again.
What, Mary, what kind of brands were you selling? Are you selling different brands than you sold before COVID, or are you continuing with the same ones? You can mention them.
I'm actually continuing with the same swim, but I am bringing in Miracle Suit because I feel like it just meets more of a range of women. But I'm continuing on with the Elomi, Panache. I have some Lee Shermel, Empreinte, Prima Donna. Those are primarily the swim that we carry. I actually just brought in a smattering of the Simone Perel swimwear, which we're giving a try right now. And that's also, that's sized like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's also more of a range. It encompasses more sizes than the specific bra size swim, which is what I was always adamant about, only carrying bra size swim. But I feel like there's a lot of people that don't want that. They want to have more variety. And I think with like a Miracle Suit, they're going to have that because it gives them more range.
That's interesting. Did you tell me that the store goes that you've got brands that go up to 52 M cup, or you want
cup? We carry a Leela.
Okay.
That goes up to a P cup.
I have never heard of that, and I've been around a long time. Okay, and is there, I guess you have a following for that, all the way from one side to the other.
We do. We actually have a lot of people that drive to get to us. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Quite all right. I was just going to say you're a destination. I never even heard of you until the other day. Unfortunately, I consulted.
See, that's great news. Thank you for contributing to our webinar.
Yes, thank you very much. So where were we?
Well, you were talking about some of the range of sizes.
Now that we go all the full size range, sorry, Elizabeth. Now that we go that full size range, we do have people driving to get to us. Some people are coming all the way from West Virginia, and then we have people coming from North Carolina because of the sizes that we do carry.
So that's interesting. How do they find out?
It's word of mouth, really. I mean, we put out information in local newspapers and on my constant contact, but women talk. I mean, that's a huge advantage for us. So they tell each other when they've had a good experience as well as a bad experience. Luckily, our good experiences outweigh any kind of bad experience.
Talk to grandmothers too.
Yes. So my customer just said her granddaughter told her to come in. So she's
Okay, so that's validating the word of mouth conversation. Can you talk a little bit? You told me you had some really interesting events. I'm particularly interested in these weddings and how you pulled that off. And will you do it again? And have you started any of these? Because you're very enmeshed in the community.
the wedding that we had was the royal wedding. That we actually conducted an imitation wedding while their wedding was going on. So we had a wedding cake in here, and the whole event was raising money for the Arc of Howard County, people with disabilities. And we had over 100 people come in the store, and with we had champagne, we had mimosas, but everybody came all dressed up like they were attending weddings.
And
so
did they buy anything?
Yeah, it was amazing. Really a great event.
Okay, because I've heard with some of these events, depending on who I speak with, and I've certainly spoken with a lot of stores last year, that these events are that people come, but they don't buy. And so a lot of people have decided that this may not be the right way to go. So this worked. What else works?
So, well, we like to partner with the charities in the community. We feel like that we're giving back, but in addition, people see that we're participating, and we're about to institute a charity. Sorry.
It's okay. This is all about the stores have opened, and you got to move forward with your business.
I apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you, for God's sake.
Yes. So we're gonna start doing giving a percentage to particular charities on Mondays, and we're gonna give 10% of what people spend on that day to a charitable organization. So we're starting to set that up now, where we're working it into our calendar, and that way we're twofold helping this organization, because a lot of the nonprofits have been pretty hit with COVID as well. Because they're not events. So if we could give back by offering a small percentage when people come shopping with us, I think it's twofold. We'll be bringing in customers to see what Brattleboro is about, but then to also be donating money to the charity.
Okay, and one last question. Your website, it was pretty minimal before COVID, right?
Yes.
And is it less minimal now, or what are you?
So in July, we actually swapped out our point of sale. So we've been waiting 14 years to do that. But now our inventory is real life inventory. So what we currently have in store is projected up on our website. So people can see, it's real time. They can see if we have it in stock. And it is starting to pick up speed. Like we're starting to see orders from all over the place. So we just got one from Pennsylvania, we got one from Florida. And these weren't people that had shopped with us before. These are just people that are finding the product now. So it's going to be like having a second store without having to, well, we're managing it because it's an online store, but it definitely is getting bigger by the day.
Okay. And okay, so that's great. Thank you very much for your input. I'm going to move on, and the people that are not speaking, just mute their microphone. Sometimes it takes static out of there. Okay, so my next question is to Karen. Am I pronouncing your name right?
It's Corinne. It's fine.
Corinne. Okay. Okay, I because of the spelling, it's interesting. So your store, Dark Garden, as Kirsten mentioned, in San Francisco, is 31 years old, but it's very unique. And I know you wrote me some information which I want you to discuss. But what I think is incredible is that it's purely a corset-only boutique. And and everything is made in store or bespoke. And I was surprised that a corset store could navigate through the past year as successfully as you have. You did explain your customers' perception of your products and why, and I want you to talk about that, Corinne. I'm guessing the growing desire, which I'm seeing trending in the business for sexy lingerie, is contributing some to that, but it was also this medical aspect that you mentioned that I found particularly interesting. Can you kind of expound on what makes your store work product-wise, and are there other products besides the bespoke? I know it's mostly your custom-made things, but it's a very interesting and unique merchandising concept. So I'd love you to speak to it.
Sure. So as mentioned, Dark Garden has been around for over 31 years. It was started by my boss, Autumn Adam, when she was about 18 years old. She made her first corset when she was 12 because she was hit by a truck and she needed something that could support her. And she was already a historical costumer by that point in her life. So she made a corset and she found that to have the best support for her. And corsets, historically speaking, have always been used for back support and bust support. It's the original bra. And from there, she ran away from home at 15, came up to San Francisco, started this company, and this is what she's done ever since. And that's what we're known for. We're known for the corsets. I'm in a corset right now, as I almost always am. And it's just as comfortable as pajamas, but in a completely different way. And we focus on that at Dark Garden. It's what we're known for, it's what we're famous for. As mentioned, Dita Von Teese has been one of our star clients since 1998. Her cover of Playboy is in one of our corsets. We have dressed Christina Aguilera, we've dressed Gwen Stefani, we've dressed Madonna, Tilda Swinton, a huge list of celebrity clients. And so people come to us for that, for something very, very special. I carry other things in the store. And there's absolutely day wear that can be worn with or without a corset. And there is lingerie and other pieces to just kind of fill out the trousseau and fill out the boudoir and make individuals, regardless of age, shape, size, gender, denomination, preference, kink, it doesn't matter, feel connected to themselves and to their sense of sexuality and the ultra feminine. And I've seen very little change in what people are looking for. I've always carried what we call the rich widow robe. I've always carried that because it pairs well with a corset. And I've always carried bralettes and things like that. Now, absolutely, as soon as shelter in place hit, zero business, nothing. Because our corsets start in the hundreds or thousands of dollars. And people just lost their jobs or they're on furlough and they lost that financial stability. And we all started working from home. So I absolutely started bringing in more loungy things. And we, for the first time in years, put up third-party merchandise on our website. That never happened before. And they sold a little bit. But what we did to survive was my boss developed a mask that is incredibly comfortable. It Velcros behind the neck, goes around the ear, so you get none of the behind the ear pressure, fits snugly over the face. And to date, we've sold about 800 of those masks. And that's what kept us going. We had to evolve, we had to change. We still kept to our ethos and our core beliefs of beauty and comfort can converge at one specific point. And that's what the mask was, but it certainly wasn't lingerie. Though I saw some amazing photo shoots with some of our models wearing those masks, and they're beautiful. Didn't know masks could be sexy, but it is. So we had to change quite a bit. And now that things are kind of opening back up again, our brides that had left us, who are coming to get either a corset as their foundation or actually getting full bridal or couture from us for their weddings, are coming back, and they're coming back in floods. They're like, okay, I postponed my wedding. It's now happening in 6 months. We're like, oh, great. I'm still at half staff. So, okay, come on in. So as people are starting to feel that hope again and seeing their lives open up, it's almost like some people are coming in defiant of what they've been denied. They've been denied feeling really sexy. They've been denied dressing to be seen. You cannot go anywhere in a corset and not be noticed. It's impossible. And so they're coming in, they're like, I'm ready. I'm ready to have this thing that I've always wanted. And you guys do it. And then on the other side of that, we've had people who have been at home all shelter in place for the last year, and they are noticing themselves doing this. And you can't do that in a corset. That was actually really difficult for me to do. I don't know if I can even show you. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
This is a daily wear corset for me. It is actually made asymmetrically to my body. One half of my back is bigger than the other and one hip is higher. So this corset's actually made to accommodate for that difference in my body to make it the most comfortable thing I could be wearing all day and keep me nice and structured. We have clients that have scoliosis and we do corrective corsetry for them. And we have people that need more shoulder support. So we have corsets with straps to bring the shoulders back. We even have a posture harness where it's no corset at all. It's just for the shoulders. And there's no reason that a medical garment can't also be beautiful and can't also be comfortable. And all of these individuals that have spent the last year hunched over their desk have realized, oh, well, when I worked in an office, it was against dress code to have something like that on. But now I'm home. I can wear whatever I want. And I can feel empowered and I can feel beautiful and I can feel sexy and sexual just in my daily life. So we're seeing that. And we're seeing the waist trainers come back. I gained the COVID-19, so I'd like to help myself move towards losing weight and getting my shape back. And we're getting so many people that just want to embrace something on the complete opposite side of what they've been in for the last year.
I have a question, Corinne. And I know it's not the major part of your business, but it's a complement to your business. What brands did you bring in, even if it was not the bulk of your business, in the other categories that complement this kind of product?
Sure. I don't think I brought in anybody new, but
okay, that's okay.
The brands that I carry are Montel for more like very classic, soft loungewear to go along with everything. I carry Amaral, Raya, Ginia, carry a bunch of stuff. Azure. I did bring in a new brand called Thief and Bandit, and they're not necessarily a lingerie brand, but they do create all natural fiber bralette sets that are just kind of quirky, and I'm in San Francisco, so quirky is great.
Yeah.
I also have the great opportunity to have a different store rent out the loft space of my boutique. And that store has been featured on these webinars before. That's Revelation and Fit. So
Yeah.
Robin has 2 stores. She has her flagship in Oakland and she has a satellite store inside my boutique at Dark Garden.
Okay.
And so Robin actually used to work for us. Robin used to be a stitcher. She used to make corsets for us. So it's all in the family. We've kept it all together.
Okay.
And so people can come to us for both the corset and the ultra feminine, and then they can just walk right upstairs and get a bra fitting with Robin.
Okay, so I understand why you have less lingerie. It's a very interesting concept. Last question. Do you do special events, or is that not part of your purview?
Special events are a huge part of Dark Garden's kind of yearly calendar. We had to, of course, cancel all of our trunk shows. We usually do a Northwest tour through Seattle and Portland. We had to cancel that. We did open up a boutique in New Orleans 2 years ago. So it was a rough tour. And we used to do, satellite shows through like Georgia and Florida, and we had to cancel that. So what we've done instead and are continuing to do is we have virtual events. So our 2-year anniversary for New Orleans is a burlesque show that's all going to be done over Zoom. And we paired with a local chocolate maker, and we did a chocolate tasting, and people bought tickets for that, and we got to send them little goodies, Dark Garden swag, as well as swag from Coco Tutti, and got to be in a community together on Zoom and do this wonderful chocolate tasting as, I'm sitting in my front desk with my mask on, like okay. But, oh, hi, customers. No, I'm not masked down, I promise.
What kind of attendance did you have?
It varies depending on the event. Some of our events are ticketed, so there's only so many people. Like the chocolate event, we can only have 25 people, and we had 25 people. Sometimes we've had 60 people on a Zoom just there to watch and to listen. My boss, being the expert in corsetry that she is, can bring quite a draw of people just wanting to hear what she has to say about corsets historically and about her experience being a corset maker and working with celebrities and things like that. We
Okay.
have paired with other educators like Midori, who's a sex educator here in San Francisco. She's really famous in the kink community. We've done kind of discussions that people can tune in on. And then we've had sales events where we go live on Instagram every Sunday and allow people to tour the shop with us and shop with us. They can take a screenshot, something they like, and text it to us, and we'll be like, oh, that's still available. This is how much it is. Go ahead and pay for it on our website, and we'll ship it to you. And then that allowed a lot of individuals that have followed us for years and have been fans of us for a really long time to experience the boutique, but not actually have to travel to San Francisco or New Orleans in order to do so.
Okay.
And I do a lot of Zoom consultations, and I ship a lot of corsets and have to show people how to put them on over a Zoom call and assess fit and see if there needs to be any kind of adjustments and things like that. So it's been a world of Zoom. So much
We know. Okay, thanks. I'm going to move on now to Kelly. But I first got to find my questions. Okay, so Kelly, your store's in New York. In fact, you're in my old stomping grounds. I think it's Rockville Center, right?
Correct.
Yeah, a fitting place.
A fitting curve. Sorry.
Curve. I'm sorry. How did I put that in there? Why didn't you correct me? Well, that was weird. I do that all the time. Sorry. All right. I'm sorry. Very sorry. Fitting curve. I know you had a better year, or I hope I'm right about this, in 2020 than 2019. And you told me that in fact it's been your best year so far. You and your partners opened this store 5 years ago. You've got a good deal of intimate background, as well as some failure which I think is very interesting, because after the failure came this big success. I find what you call a customer-based product inventory very interesting, and I also think your approach to the media-based releases that that you use, and the expansion of all these moms groups, very, very interesting. It's just really enhanced your volume. But in this dialogue we're going to have, can you mention what you sell? Because I learned about some brands from you when we chatted on the phone, and I want to talk, I want you to talk about what you thought you would sell, what you are selling, what sustained you through, and before we get on to the mom thing.
Oh, sure thing. Okay, so when we opened the store, you just have to think of it. You've worked with beautiful lingerie your whole career, so you're used to the Lee Charmels, the high-end product, Prima Donna, Empreinte, Simone Pérèle, all the French brands, Chantal, and then you think that you're going to open a store and be able to carry all of your favorite things and sell all this beautiful lingerie. So when we opened the store, we actually had 2 stores. We ended up closing the second one. That second store had all that high-end stuff. So our store, when we opened, had a lower level of stock. And just naturally, we let the customer speak to us about what their wants and needs were. And then we always look back at that first year. If we had gone in with what we know about fitting and sizes, we would have had nothing for our customer. Our customer base ended up being wider backed, smaller chested. So our product mix wouldn't have fit them at all. From what we knew in our fitting lives, it was always E, F, G, or bigger for cups. And for our first 2 years, I want to say, we didn't see that body at all. It was really interesting. So we had to find brands, because any fitting store that we've all worked in collectively, it's always been E, F, G, H, bread and butter sizes for us, and the brands that we worked with are higher. And what we were finding was it was a complete opposite when we first started. So we had to really let the customer speak to what we carried. So when we started, we wanted to make sure that we also weren't carrying something they can go get down the street at the local mall. Otherwise, coming to us wouldn't be special. It wouldn't be an experience that they could speak to, because if they can just get it at the local mall, or we're in New York, they can get it from anywhere, right? There's a bra shop every 10 blocks. So we didn't want to have something that they can just go get at the neighborhood store. We wanted to make sure that we had the size range and the quality product that they would buy and they could take home and talk about. So that leads us to our brands, where those brands I spoke about before was what we wanted to carry. What we ended up with was a mix of brands that aren't so common. So we picked one of our top sellers is a brand called Rosemary. I think we're one of the few stores in the country that carry them. It's from Latvia. It's our bread and butter. We place orders almost quarterly, but it's like a massive order just because it's coming from a different country directly to us. Jolie Dawn is another French brand that we carry that's really popular. And then just the other brands that you hear of all the time, but for the customers that we sell to the most, those are our top 2 brands for like our year-round spend. Whenever I look at the numbers, I'm like, okay, who's winning right now? It's almost always those 2. For example, our store, we just brought in Evedon brands, just brought in on year 5 and I know that for stores around the country, that's what they've been working with from the very beginning. Our customers are just now finding us from all of the marketing that we're doing. For example, we have never done traditional marketing for our store because we just didn't have the budget for it, to be honest. We never budgeted enough that we could get the word out. So our customers also gave us free advertising. They have these homegrown Facebook groups that kind of run the town. One is RVs. There's 2. So we just found out a few months ago that there's actually 2 groups that are like pushing us for free. And we can't get into the groups either. They're private groups. So we're not in as a store advertising ourselves. The moms will literally tell us, oh, I heard about you on such and such group. And they had such a good experience. I had to bring my daughter and my friends. Or I just heard about you to such and such group. So I had to come in because I need X, Y, and Z for this wedding because my friend said they found you. So that was for the longest time our only source of customers other than people seeing us on the road, coming in from brunch or breakfast because of all the restaurants in the area. It was truly our customers talking about us that have given us the most push as we get through this challenge. When we closed for 3 months last year, we didn't know what to expect when we reopened. And when we reopened, those same brands that we thought were kind of fade out supported us. But then there was this massive push to support small business. And then the COVID-20 that everybody gained combined with needing more comfortable things. So then our brands actually flipped to wireless, but in particular, Evelyn and Bobby, which is also not a super popular brand yet.
Oh, I'm
I live in it. Since March of last year, I've been living in it.
I have it on right now. Living it.
I'm terrible because right now I have on the tank and the bra just because I wanted to be super snug. But that's the bra. I was like, this is the COVID bra.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Well, I actually wear it out and I never thought I would because I'm a G cup. So
same. I never thought I would wear a wireless bra all day because I've just been so trained. Like when I was younger, I was 12, I would live in a corset. Corinne, when you were talking about corsets, I was just like, that's my life story. Because my mom, I'm like 6 feet tall. You guys can't tell because I'm sitting, but I'm about 6 feet tall. So my mom would always put me in a corset or like super tight fitting garments, which I love. And I still love to this day. But having something with no wire and no constraints is quite freeing after all this time. But that became our COVID bra. Almost every wired bra would see a purchase of 2 of the Evelyn and Bobby. We could never keep it in stock enough. So that became a change. The other change in all of our 5 years that was pretty big was all of a sudden, everybody wanted matching sets.
yeah, you told me that, and that's so not America. So I'm with few exceptions. So I wonder where
All of a sudden, we have no idea where it came from. So we've been like scrambling to like kind of do co-matching. If they got a match, it was really lucky because no one wanted matching sets. For the first 4.5 years, 0 matching sets were sold. It's not that 0, it was like few and far between. It was like for a wedding, for a trousseau, things like that, for gifts. But no, people were coming in asking for matching sets, G-strings, crotchless panties, all the things that they never asked for before all of a sudden has become, other than comfort and lounge, have become like our top requests. And even the Evelyn and Bobby, they want matching sets. So it was really an interesting dynamic to see how people came out of the pandemic. I can't remember my last question.
who do you sell in lounge, and who is it the same as before? Because lounge probably picked up, I would think, during.
Lounge picked up. It was mainly, actually Felina has been one of our top sellers for brands.
Interesting.
They
Okay.
had some really super soft and buttery pajamas that have sold out every time we bring it in. And the other thing we had to deal with was a lot of the brands not having anything left, right? In the lounge space, not having anything left and trying to really stretch and see, okay, do you have this left? Do you have this left? Monkey was another brand that we brought in that had a lot of softer things. Again, trying to work with lesser known brands because we know all the brands that we know that are tried and true, their production shut down or they're sold out.
Interesting. So you had a pivot and you clearly did well doing it. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I'm going to move on and then we'll come back if people have some questions. Okay. So the next question, the next is you, Callie. And I'm very interested in what you guys have to say. You're a 9,000 square foot store in Austin, Texas. That's been family owned for 60 years. So it's an establishment, I'm sure. It's probably more like a mini department store, but just because of the broad base of intimate categories that you can physically house. I find the story particularly interesting because you had more flexibility in Texas than some of the northern states. You veered away somewhat from the use of Instagram to support your email strategy, but I'm wondering, and that worked, which also interests me because I'm getting really tired of some of the social media sites. I think you said that you use a lot of mailings and that you have almost somewhere between 40 and 50,000 contacts that you reach all over Texas. The other really interesting point for me is what's happening in Austin with the shift of people from big cities to Texas and the change in the cultural changes that you're anticipating. How is it going to, it's a challenge for you guys because you need to attract those customers, but you also have to learn about who they are. Can you kind of elaborate on all of this, Callie?
Yeah, well, I'm sure everybody knows Austin's like the hot new spot that everyone is moving to.
Yeah.
A lot of it is tech industry as well. So these people weren't really affected economically with the shutdown. In Austin, you know, we've been through a lot of recessions over 60 years and we've kind of just maintained our same strategy throughout everything. And our core bread and butter business is basic bras. So, you know, that between $50 and $80, we've always had that price point. You know, we'll bring in higher price points, but anytime something happens, that's what we're selling is the core bras. It's interesting because our ticket prices, like individual ticket prices, have increased a lot since coming in, but we're not getting as many people through the door. So
I've heard that a lot.
it's interesting. And a lot of these people haven't shopped with us before. And when we redid our website in 2018, we integrated a lot of SEO into it so that if you search bra fitting anywhere in Central Texas, we're the first to pop up. So a lot of our customers come specifically to us from outside of Austin. For assortment wise, our top 4 brands are Lomi, Wacol, Naturi, and Panache, and that has not changed in, you know, since I've been back. We are noticing that like people will buy their core bras and those basic price points, but they're willing to spend a little bit more on something more fun. And we're getting a lot more of those higher fun brands to
Like
our
who?
customers without any hesitation either. We brought in Bordel like kind of right before quarantine happened. And so I was a little worried about that, but I've reordered it like 5 times this year because it just keeps selling out and people want it. So I'm here for it.
And who else besides Bordel?
I mean, a lot more from Lee Charmel. Obad does really well for us too. We carry pretty much everything. So it's not really having to learn what the customers want because we have it. It's just
what works.
Yeah, and what sizes.
Yeah, I'm speaking of sizes. What's your core sizes there? Is it across the
F
board
to
or-
G cup.
F to G, just
UK F to G, yeah.
yeah, what Kelly anticipated that didn't happen for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see the Saks sign behind you on the
Yeah.
shelf. So I'm guessing that you're carrying men's in the
Mhm.
store. Is it a big, like, what part of your business did it increase during COVID?
It's
not
always
like-
been very minimal. It's just an add-on
Okay.
sale that we kind of marketed as like, yeah, you're spending a lot on bras, but like, here's something for him, so he doesn't
Okay,
get mad.
okay. So it's a multiplier. It's not
Yeah.
a desk. Okay, okay. And what about leg wear? Because I haven't asked that question to anyone yet, but you're large, so I think
Mhm.
that you might carry, hosiery and socks. And do you, and who?
We carry Wolford and Falca. Hosiery, it's Texas, so it's a very small window
Yeah.
of appropriate weather. But we do really well with thigh highs because it goes with the matching sets and things like that. Socks, okay, but it's not something I spend too much time.
Okay, okay. And I guess you do carry sleepwear and loungewear. Did that shift with the surge in that category? I don't think you were closed as much as other stores were. Did you
No,
tell
we
me
weren't.
like 3 weeks or something?
We were technically closed all of April, but we were still here doing web orders, phone orders. We did do appointments because some of our customers were like, you're essential to us. And we're like, oh, we agree. So
Yeah,
we're
different
here if
attitude.
you want to come in. And we had people still coming in. But yeah, we haven't really been closed. Texas is very much a like personal responsibility state. So there weren't really any rules for retail that were set out there. It was kind of just,
But
at your own discretion.
Austin is a little bit different than the rest of Texas in terms of,
Mhm.
I think of it more as a different mentality. And I'm wondering if, so the surge that all the other stores saw in lounge and in comfort wear, was that happening for you? I mean, because your customer base kind of kept going. So I'm curious if you saw that shift.
Yeah, sleepwear, we did a lot of sleepwear, and I've kind of for the last few seasons been moving towards lounge and ready to wear anyways. So I pre-book everything, and luckily I was able to have that stock going
And
and I wasn't having to chase.
Who was important to you?
Let's see, Notori Sleepwear, Skin, Commando, PJ Salvage.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So those are kind of like the top 4 for us.
Okay. You mentioned to me on the phone that you had to deal with, even though the tech people are the ones coming, there seems to be a shift in the, unless I misunderstood you, in the cultural environment, and that you have to, you're finding that there's an additional customer base, not only these techies, but what do they buy, like, what are you doing to get to these people? I mean, I know you have this huge mailing list, which you don't participate in a lot of social media. It's this constant, well, I don't know if it's constant contact. It's your mailing list. What do you do with that 40 to 50,000 people? Because you told me that really sustained you. How do you use that?
Yeah, so we use a company called OptCulture, and it's also tied into our loyalty program and our point of sale system. So we're able to really send detailed emails based on what customers have purchased. So one of our biggest complaints before was sending an email for a smaller cup brand to everybody, and then the larger cup girls are like, well, that doesn't come in my size, that's not fair. So I really wanted to find something that I could send my small cup customers what would fit them, and send my big cup customers what would fit them, without them having to see what they can't have, because they think it's our fault that it's not available in their size when it's not.
That's very interesting. Your sales reports feed the information to that report. So that's very interesting, and I've never heard of that before. That's
so like
great.
if they've purchased Elomi and it's a recolor, I just send it to my Elomi Goddess customers, because I know that they're going to want to see it first, and that's really worked well for us.
You've really got, because you've gotten some amazing response from your e-blasts. What about events? Do you do events in the store, or you don't do them? So you don't do, and I find it amazing that, you know, and it's, I'm kind of pleased about it, that the social media is not the, God, if I don't have this Instagram account, I'm going to be in real trouble. I find it interesting.
Yeah,
So, yeah. And
the
how,
time it takes just doesn't reap enough
Tell me.
benefit for us. So word of mouth has always been our thing. And I think the SEO kind of taking over like swimwear and bras, like anytime you type that into Google, we're the ones to pop up.
what about swimwear, Callie? I mean, I know you have a decent sized business there in swim, and you're also in a swim oriented environment. Did you sustain it?
Yeah.
Did you change? I would think people with home pools and things. Were you able to bring in, who are your brands and who are your key brands there? And did you bring in anybody new or?
I didn't bring anyone new in last year, but I carry probably 10 to 20 different swim brands,
Okay.
just based off what I like. I go to Miami Swim Show, so I'm able to really, most
Yeah,
of our
yeah.
swim now isn't from bra companies. It's from swim companies.
So it's a real swim store business, because
Mhm.
there's a difference between lingerie swim and
Yeah.
pure swim store businesses. They tend to not buy the same things. So
And
that's very
we've always
interesting.
been that bra store that they come in and they're like, oh, you have swimwear. And we did start off with just cup size swimwear because that's the easy translations. Like, oh, well, you can't find a bra that fits. You probably can't find a swimsuit that fits. Here you go. And since I've come in and done the buying, I want to fit in swimsuits, and cup size swimsuits for me, just, I don't need that support. So I kind of brought in some of those younger, you know, like Elf Space, Vitamin A, those brands to come
Right.
in. Because I'm kind of trying to get people to come in for swimsuits and be like, oh, you also do bras.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Is there anything else you want to share?
I don't think so.
Okay. So now I'm going to move on to Nicole. And Bloomers, which we're going from 9,000 square feet with Callie to 600 square feet with Nicole. What I find incredible is that I think you've personally owned it since 2018. I don't know, but you never closed, if I remember.
No.
So I want you to talk a little bit about that, and some of the content on your brands, Nicole, and anything else that you think fits into this, how you got yourself through actually this very tight space, tight budget, no customer, and you've come out the other side and you're okay, right? So
Yes.
interesting journey. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit.
Sure. So like you said, we actually, Virginia never had like a specific retail close. So we did close a few days a week in the beginning in like March and April of last year, but we never like officially closed the store. We relied a lot on phone sales. We did not have a website. We had a website, but we weren't selling on our website. And I spoke to my husband, I said, we need to be selling on our website because I don't know how long this is going to last. And, people aren't coming into shops, so we need to do something. So we actually ramped up our website to do sales on that. Really started pushing things on Instagram. We set it up so if people wanted to call, and we would basically bring the phone through the store and they could shop, and then we would actually bring their purchases out to their car. So we kind of did curbside pickup. We did local drop off. So if somebody bought something and they were within, 5 miles of the store, we would drive it over and drop it at their doorstep. We're in a boutique district, and a lot of the boutiques were doing things like that. So we were all kind of giving each other suggestions of, what was working, because most of us stayed open, so it was just kind of like, well, this is what we're doing and it's working. And so we kind of all fed off of each other, which was nice, and commiserated because nobody was doing particularly well. So it was kind of nice to know that you weren't alone in that. So it's a really great group of, boutique owners that you can kind of bounce things off of. We do a lot of loungewear to begin with. And and I always have my loungewear booked for, for like the whole year. So thankfully we had loungewear coming in every month. So I didn't kind of have that shortage that some people had of trying to scramble to get loungewear, because I get it from PJ Salvage, Eberge, Cosabella, Bedhead, pretty much on a monthly basis. And unless they couldn't get it to us for whatever reason, we were getting it in, which was great because everyone, we're 10 minutes outside of DC, so all government workers, they were all working from home and they didn't have to wear suits and ties anymore. So everyone wanted loungewear. So that was great. And of course, bralettes, wireless bras were the big things that we were selling. And we got through, but this year already has been heads and tails better. People are starting to come out, and, we're kind of a bridal destination area. A lot of people get married here, and so the brides are coming back and they're coming in. I think I've sold more strapless bras this month than I sold in the entirety of last year, because nobody needed strapless bras for everything, but everyone needs them now because they're actually, going to events and things like that. So it's been great to see people coming back out and needing things to go to events, and they need shapewear again and those types of things. So
it's 600 square feet, and you have a good loungewear business. Is it a bra fitting store? Can you define it that way?
Yes, actually, we sell loungewear, but the bread and butter is bras and bra fitting. We have so much stuff in that store for 600 square feet. I'm like a minimalist at heart, and I would love to have a store where I just had like one or two things hung up and everything in the back, but we don't have a back. So everything is right out where you can see. I mean, we make use of drawers and stuff, but no, everything's out. So I'm constantly ordering. I place orders every single week, sometimes twice a week, because if we sell something, I have to get it back in stock with the bras, because we can't carry that many of each size. So it's a constant battle to make sure that we have the right things in stock.
So who are your key brands there, and are they the same now as they were before? Is it changing?
No, it's really been the same. We're really foundational garments. So Natori, Wacoal, we sell a lot of Chantel and Le Mystere. Those are really the bread and butter. We also carry, we carry some stuff from Simone Perel. We carry some stuff from Samantha Chang and things like that. But the core is foundational garments, which is really like Natori and Wacoal are our two best sellers.
Okay. So is there anything else event-wise, or anything else that's changing, or you're going to go after, or the new direction, or you're just going to continue on this path? I
mean, I think with 600 square feet, we're pretty limited. We do a lot of events with the other boutiques and things like that throughout the year. They're always, we're part of a big business district. So, we're constantly doing events. Last year, of course, we really couldn't do much, but this year we're starting to open back up our bridal exhibition that we do, and sidewalk sales and all those types of things. We're hoping that are going to be able to safely come back this year. And then we do a couple charity events, which we're actually having our first charity event next month, and we're hoping that goes smoothly. But yeah, I think kind of just keeping with what's working right now is our plan of attack. And hopefully, as the business gets back to normal, we can start bringing some different things in, because it's always good. And I've noticed that a lot of our brands, I think during the pandemic, when they kind of tightened what they had. So we've actually had a lot of our bras that have been discontinued that we have carried. So we've kind of had to go, okay, I made a huge master list the other night and said, okay, we have 15 bras that we're losing, which is huge. And so I need to go, okay, are we bringing in, we're actually going to bring in, and I can't think of their names right now, a German brand to fill some of those gaps, because we have some just bras that we're losing that we know are popular, and we need to bring something else in. So that's been interesting too, is the amount of stock that we've kind of lost just due to discontinuations. I think when people just had the time to look over what was selling and what wasn't, they really tightened up. Some of the brands really tightened up what they were selling, which has kind of been interesting to navigate.
Yeah. So You made me think of something when you said German brands, which I was thinking of Anita, and I always think of sports bras when I think of Anita. I'm wondering, I didn't bring that up with all of you, but I'm curious about the sports business. We know it was a huge surge. I have statistics from an NPD company on how sports bras literally picked up during COVID 14% and lifted the entire US bra business, so that I think the drop in the entire bra business was 1 or 2%, as opposed to ready to wear apparel 20. I'm not talking about all of lingerie, I'm talking about bras, but it caused we still had a drop in the lingerie business, but nothing like apparel, because those kinds of categories really gave a shot to the foundations business. Do any of you support that? I mean, I'm asking the group now. Am I right about that in terms of your stores? Anybody? Oh, Corinne?
It affected us in a really strange way. So the mask we created is made with a material called ProCool, which is a synthetic fabric, moisture wicking and very breathable, but still really good at filtering. We had a hard time getting it because it would sell out so fast. So we would have to place orders very quickly in order to get that material to make what we were making.
Okay, and breathability during, running and things like that, right?
Yeah, the mask was specifically designed for runners. So all of our test group of models for it to make sure that it fit right were avid runners through San Francisco. And you can't socially distance in San Francisco easily. So we had to use an athletic wear fabric, and it was very hard to get.
Yeah, I would think that was, but still they were able to deliver. How about any of the rest of you in terms of sports bras?
Austin's a very active town, so sports bras have always been big sellers for us, and we definitely saw an uptick there too.
And who do you sell, Callie? Who's your key? Do you remember?
Anita, Panache, Shock Absorber, Prima Donna are probably the top ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah.
Oh, the Elomi sports bra too is our number one.
Yeah. Anyone else?
We've not been able to get sports bras in stock. I mean, they've been flying out of here, and from the smaller to all the way up to 46H. Is that a size to go? 46 sports bras. Yeah. It just keeps picking up. Like, it really has been turning into probably our third best seller in the store would be the sports bra line.
Okay. And anybody in particular, Mary, that are, is key for you?
Elomi for sure. Anita, we just brought in Alila, for the larger curvaceous customer, and they've been doing great. I mean, it's Panache, the Panache 5021, and that with wire, without wire. We do carry a smattering of the Wacoal sports bra, but pretty much it's Panache, Anita, and Elomi.
Okay. I'm just curious, because I know that's a key. Because I know sleepwear and was beginning to trend even before COVID. It was never going to be the key thing in a lingerie bra fitting store, but it was beginning to come back from a long, sleepy period of time. And so was sports bras, but there was a huge surge. And the last thing I wanted to kind of throw at the group, although you've mentioned it in different ways, is it sounds to me when I talk to the stores, and even the stores that never had it before, that the sexy business is starting to escalate. I'm guessing Corinne's gave a pretty good dissertation on why, but if so, is it happening for any of you, and who? What and who?
Oh, for us, it's every age group, which is really funny. Our bread and butter is our older customer, ages 50 and up. So it's every age group.
What are they
everything, anything that's cute and sexy to them. So that's, and everybody's it's to their persuasion. Like a white bra, no lace cotton is sexy to some of our customers. But or like too much. Like it depends on the customer. And then I guess the big thing is again matching sets. So I think we've seen every age group want a matching set, even the
So
youngest.
it's an attitude, even if it's
It's an
not
attitude.
it's desire to feel special again under your clothes and close to your skin, and you know.
Even lingerie, I think I had someone who was like an M cup. I somehow got her into a romper that worked. Yep. And it worked. And she was happy. Romper with like this little poncho that we had that went with it, completely happy with it. And she was like an M. So yeah, every size range, doesn't really matter, every age.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I know, I mean, you know, I've been inside for a very long time, and all of a sudden, you know, it's kind of nice to put on lipstick, you know, and for some of you are in the stores, so you get yourselves dressed every day. But for those of us who always work from home, even before, but at least we had the market and the city and, you know, events and things like that. Does anybody else have anything they want to ask each other or say before we wrap it up? Okay, I think I'm going to ask Kirsten to come back on board.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was so wonderful to hear all your stories. We really appreciate everyone's time today. I know it's a lot, especially when you're in your stores trying to work, and Mary's juggling as she's doing the webinar, being the superstar. We know there's a lot of multitasking moms out there too. So we really appreciate your time and sharing your optimism. And we are feeling really optimistic at Curve. I don't know if everyone has got our little email, but we announced this past weekend that we are having our New York Curve show, which is August 1st and 2nd. Hooray. I can't wait to see everyone in person. I'm gonna make everyone show me their beautiful bras that they're wearing too, now that I'm hearing about the return to glamour and sexy, which that's right up my alley. You know, I'm a red lipstick kind of girl. So anyway, if you haven't registered already, you can go online and register, or just reach out to buyer@curvenewyork.com, and we're more than happy to get you started. We are also excited because we have a brand new location. It will not be in the Javits Center. It will be at Spring Studios, which is down in Tribeca. Beautiful views, indoor,
Gorgeous.
outdoor space.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, you know?
Gorgeous.
It's gonna, yeah, we can't fit
New
as many
York,
brands
gorgeous.
in, but it's gonna just be really amazing. And most of all, I just think it's so important to everyone to come together, stay connected. Until then, and I hope you will tune in for our webinars. We are continuing the series up until probably the end of the year, but right now I know up until at least August, every Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern time. So thank you again, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful spring, and I look forward to seeing you all in person. Okay, thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.